All right, welcome back. So, in this lesson, I want to cover super simple, okay, how liquidity pools work. Because this is the core of DeFi, but there are multiple ways to explain it, and I want to try and do it in a simplest possible way. You may have some questions, send me them, I will answer them in detail, but I think that there is no need to overcrowd you with multiple examples, pictures, drawings, etc. Straight to the point. Okay, so let's make this really easy to understand. What is a liquidity pool in DeFi? A liquidity pool is like a shared pot of two tokens. Okay, for example, you put XRP and USDC into a pool, right? So there is a pool, like imagine a box, and you put 50% XRP, 50% USDC in coins, whatever. Other people can come outside of you, yeah, like your neighbors, friends, family, strangers can come and trade between XRP and USDC. So some people may buy XRP, some people may sell, okay? Every trade pays a fee. So if I go to the wallet and I swap between one asset to another, that transaction cost me a fee. And the fee is everywhere in Binance, in Coinbase, in centralized exchanges as well. On DeFi, there is this fee as well, but this fee goes to liquidity providers, people like me and future you. So every trader pays a fee, and you as a liquidity provider earn a share of those fees. Simple as that. But there was a problem a few years ago where, well, basically you were able to deploy into liquidity pool and that's it, in 50-50 proportion. So you had to provide 50% of one asset and 50% of another asset. And the problem was that traditional liquidity pools spread your money across all prices from 0 to infinity. So let's imagine that XRP right now is at $1, right? So your money essentially in a traditional liquidity pools used to work across the whole price horizon. If XRP drops to 1 cent or if XRP goes to 1 million, it doesn't matter. It still would work. But what happens if XRP trades within 90 cents and 150? Yeah, so $1.5 for months and months and months. Then most of your capital inside the liquidity pool is not working efficiently, right? Because the liquidity and the price action is concentrated between 90 cents and $1.5 as an example, but everything outside of it is just sitting idle, just like your assets. Just sitting idle, doing nothing. It's not providing into the pool, right? So a few years ago, this new concept was launched in DeFi called version 3 pools, or known as concentrated liquidity pools, because that is so much more smarter and more efficient way to manage your capital and provide liquidity. So the way it works is, instead of spreading your money everywhere within the whole horizon of price from 0 to infinity, you choose a price range where your money will be active. So for example, if XRP right now costs 60 cents in euros, dollars, pounds, doesn't matter, and you choose a range of, let's say, 50 cents and 70 cents. So your liquidity, your money, only works inside that range, okay? So while XRP is moving between 50 and 70 cents, your money is making you money. It's working because, it's just, in simple terms, you provide liquidity only within this range, and that's it. So while you are inside the range and people are trading, you are earning the fees. But if XRP goes above or below your range, there's nothing wrong except you are no longer earning the fees. Okay? And what happens when the price moves, right? Up or down? So let's use a simple story. You deposited 500 XRPs into the pool. Let's say it was $1 per XRP. So $500 in the pool. So you choose a range between 50 and 70 cents. And now you have three possible situations. Number one, or A, the price stays inside your range. So your money is active, you are earning the trading fees, you are getting the yield, the income, and it's the best case scenario. You are making money. Now, B, if the price goes above your range, above 70 cents, your XRP is now fully sold into USDC automatically. So now you hold only USDC and you stop earning the fees because you are out of range. And C, the price goes below your range, which is below 50 cents in this example, your USDC gets converted into only XRP, so you only have XRPs now. And again, you stop earning fees because you are out of range. Okay, now why is that conversion happens? Why does it move out of range? Because the traders have pushed the price outside the zone you chose. And the pool automatically rebalances your assets. So if the price goes up, the pool tend to get less asset and more stable coin. So less XRP, more USDC. So because you provided the money within a specific range, your money is essentially moving only within this range. So if the price goes above the range you selected, you are converted fully into USDC. If it goes back into your range, you are once again being converted towards XRP, because then the price, it means the price is falling. So you are getting converted from USDC back to XRP and you are earning the fees again. If the price goes down, you end up in XRP because people are selling XRP, so there is more XRP in the pool and less USDC. So if the price goes below your range, in this case below 50 cents, right, you are holding only XRP. When the price comes back into your range, let's say it was 45 cents and then it came back to 51 cents. So you are back in range because your range was 50 and 70, right? So you are back into the range. So once again, your XRP will start converting towards USDC if the price is going up, right? Plus you earn the fee. So if the price goes out of range and you get converted to one asset or another, it's not a loss. It's just how the system balances the swaps, because that is how the DeFi automated market maker pool AMM works. So you are simply no longer working in the market until you move your range. Okay? To give you even simpler analogy, think of it like a shop on a street. So you open your shop between buildings 50 and 70. Okay? So the customers walk only inside that zone, right? People that live in building 50, 51, 52, 67, 70, people that walk around that zone, they are your customers. If all people move past building 70, so they are no longer visiting 70 and below, moves past the 70, your shop gets no traffic, no people are walking here, right? And if they move below building 50, again, same thing, no more traffic, no more customers. Everyone is moving somewhere else between buildings 30 and 49, for example, right? So you must relocate your shop to where the people are. So that's how you keep earning the fees. So the same thing applies to liquidity pools. If you set the range, right, and the price went out of range and it's not coming back, you have to change the range to keep earning the fees. And this is where the strategy comes into play, because if you make a very small range, just a tiny range, yes, you will earn a lot of yield because it's a very concentrated liquidity pool, right? So you earn the most fees in that specific tiny range. But then for the price to go out of range is very simple. When it goes out of range, you have to relocate the shop, so to speak, change the range, right? Which locks your initial deposit values. So if you make the range very small, you will get high yield, but you will be required to do very active management because the position might go out of range very quickly. If you made the range very wide, like if XRP is now $1 and you make the range 30 cents and $5, which is a massive range, then once again, your capital isn't as effective. It's not working as effective. Yes, you stay in range for a long time, but it's not as effective. You will be earning less yield because most of the trading happens on a specific, a bit of a smaller price range. So your goal is to determine what is the best possible range to set on your positions and what kind of deposit ratio you want to be choosing, whether you want to enter with USDC only or stablecoin or XRP only or a mixture of both, maybe 50-50, maybe 70-30, depending on where the price is and what is your goal of the liquidity pool, right? But this is where the strategy comes into play. It's not just blindly deposit into the pool and keep it running. If you do that, it's already a good first step, but you will notice when the price starts to move actively that if you made the wrong decisions and deployed on a wrong range with the wrong deposit ratios, you will be essentially not profitable in a long-term perspective because the fees will not cover the impermanent loss. Simple as that. So why this is powerful for XRP holders and just DeFi participate in general? Well, first of all, because the concentrated liquidity lets you earn higher fees with less capital. You can focus on realistic price zones. You can set the range where the trading actually happens and not somewhere massively outside where the price is not even been before. And you control your risk better because you decide whether you are executing with fully XRPs, fully stables, variety of both, etc., etc. So you have more control over your position decisions. But it requires active management. You can't just leave the position running for ages and just come back every month and get the yield. You have to manage it, okay? By manage it, I mean you have to always monitor whether you are in range or not, and if not, whether to rebalance or wait for the price to come back, etc., etc. So I will explain the basics of that as well. But I mean, strategy management systems is something that is ever-growing educational process, right? You always learn how to deploy money better. You have to spot the market, what the market is doing, whether this breakout is fake or not, real or not, whether the volume is high or not, etc., etc. You have to read all of that, which takes time and experience, but then you adapt your system to those findings and essentially build a proper strategy. So when you have a nice simple strategy that is making you yield, the only thing you have to worry about is increasing the size so you get even more money made. So that's how liquidity pools work on a very simple high-level information. And I don't think you need to know all the little chatter, how the AMM, what kind of code and formula there is, because it's not necessary. You have to understand the very simple things that I explained here, understand the simple analogy with the buildings and your shop, and that's it. And once we move into the actual examples of how to set the ranges, how to deploy into the pools, you will get what I mean. But the best learning path will be for you to actually deploy into the pool yourself, even a small amount, $10, $20, $50, doesn't matter, but deploy yourself and see how the pool reacts when the price moves. this will be the best learning path for you, because you will see it yourself, you will experience it yourself, what happens to the pool. So thank you guys for watching, and of course, as always, I will see you on the next video where we will start to dive deeper into liquidity provision.